I know that January has almost finished, but in terms of game releases, it was a big pass for me anyway. Apart from my most anticipated games releasing in 2026, I'll be covering games that I think will come out, my super early Game of the Year predictions, and some other game-related things. Let's start with the game I'm waiting the most this year, that is Resident Evil 9. There was a recent showcase where they revealed more details about the gameplay and the difference between the two protagonists. It will be possible to switch the perspective from first to third person whenever you want, but Grace will be defaulted to first person and her part looks to be very similar to Resident Evil 7 gameplay, and Leon is hella rich and he drives a Porsche, but we all know it will be destroyed by the end of the game and he will be better played in third person since his parts are more action focused like in Resident Evil 4. I love the combination and cannot wait for the release at the end of February. Earlier that month, we also gonna see other 3 interesting games, those being Neo 3, that looks promising. I don't like the Neo games, but I would give this one a try. Reanimal is the real Little Nightmares 2 sequel since it's from the original creators of the game, unlike Little Nightmares 3, which sucks. And High on Life 2. I might be one of the 6 people who really enjoyed the first one, not because it's bad, but because only 7 played it. It's a very cool 3D Metroidvania with cool areas and bosses, music is great, and I love the humor, which is much better than in Rick and Morty. High on Life 2 seems to have more of everything I mentioned and better movement. In March we're having Mouse. Everyone is very hyped about it, but looking at the trailers, I don't think the gameplay will be anywhere near as good as the art style, but I would love to be wrong. Replaced looks sick with Limbo type gameplay and combat. It's been delayed many times, so I hope it's going to be good, but I don't expect anything phenomenal. In April, Invincible Versus looks cool, but I'm not gonna play it because I don't have the time to master fighting games anymore. The only time I did it was for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate during lockdown. And Pragmata is a game I'm really looking forward to, but only after playing the available 20-minute demo. I was very confused by every trailer Capcom was showing, but after playing the game I cannot stop thinking about it. I highly recommend trying it yourself. In May, the new James Bond and LEGO games are the only interesting releases as of right now, but I'm not really interested in playing those. But I'll still keep an eye on them. Jumping all the way to September with a game I'm really hyped about, that being Phantom Blade Zero, and from what they showed it looks like a top tier action game. And GTA 6 in November, but I think it's going to get delayed again, and to be honest I'm not that hyped. It's an normie game, nothing new from a gameplay perspective, it's the classic driving and shooting, which I enjoy from time to time, but it's nothing new. Sure, there's gonna be a great story and characters like only Rockstar knows how to do, and sure I'll be interested in trying the game mainly for the physics and details. But I'm absolutely fine with the idea of when it's gonna come out, plus 6 months to wait for a release date on PC, plus other 6 months to a year for a good discount. Now let's talk about the games that don't have a release date but are gonna come out in 2026. Silksong Sea of Sorrow is the first upcoming 3 DLC update, Deltarune Chapter 5 is reportedly coming out, Jacko Gods is a game where you are a lizard in a beautiful looking world with puzzles and things to explore. Twime 2 is a game I'm actually very hyped about. I love the first game so much so I got all the achievements. It's a cozy game where you talk to different NPCs in small isometric maps and you take pictures of things they ask you to find. I know how everyone hates Mortal Shell, I personally never played it and never will, but the sequel looks very promising. Oko the Exiled is a nice looking 2D action game, nothing crazy but something I would definitely buy on a discount. Sword is the real Hyper Light Drifter sequel we never got but always wanted. Super Meat Boy 3D has a demo that instantly convinced me that this 3D version is better than the original 2D game. Chronoscript is a unique looking Metroidvania, the art style is just incredibly cool, I really hope it's going to be good with nice smooth controls. Valor Mortis is a Souls-like in first person that looks very interesting, but I have to be honest, I tried the alpha version and the pairing was feeling off, so I hope they fix it by the time it comes out. I never played any Onimusha games, but the new one caught my attention with its cool combat and Asian dark fantasy vibes. Wolverine has also to come out this year, but I'm not really interested, especially after what Insomniac did with Spider-Man 2, that is absolutely terrible. Now that I listed all the games that I consider to be interesting to say the least that are planned to come out in 2026, I want to talk about the announced and unannounced games that I think are going to come out and some speculation. Starting off with Judas, announced back in 2022, made from the creator of the BioShock series, is a game I'm very hyped about and we haven't heard much as of lately, but I think we're gonna see it released this year. A game I'm even more hyped about is Crossworn, a cool-looking Metroidvania with sick abilities and guns. It feels like it's been in development as long as Silksong, but I think that 2026 is Crossworn's year for sure. And now here are my speculations. Capcom is going to announce a remake of Resident Evil 0 or Code Veronica for a 2027 release. BioShock 4 is going to be announced this year. There have been some rumors and leaks regarding the location and other details, so I hope to see at least the official title in some event like Summer Game Fest. Now Nintendo games. I'm a PC gamer and owner of a very dusty Nintendo Switch 1. Donkey Kong Bonanza isn't enough for me to make me buy a Switch 2, but in 2026 Nintendo has some milestone projects with the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda, Metroid and Kid Icarus, as well as the Pokemon's 30th. As much as I don't care for Pokemon games, I always hope to see something new and different from the classic RPGs. All I want is a Pokemon action game where you are the Pokemon, but I'm not asking for a fighting game. Zelda will have a release, but not a new mainline game. I think more of a remake of Twilight Princess or a Link Between Worlds. I don't think anything Metroid will be announced since we just got Prime 4 in December, but looking at what Nintendo decided to do with Kirby A Riders, I think that Sakurai has the Kid Icarus remake ready for us. Other than that, I would love to see the next Super Smash Bros. Game being announced, but I hardly think so. The game alone will make me buy instantly the Nintendo Switch 2. But let's go back to PC, because my favorite company Valve announced the new Steam controller that I really want to buy, the Steam console, and a new VR headset. Those being 3 products. You know what else ends with a 3? Half-Life 3. Yes, I really think they're gonna shadow drop it on the same day as the GameCube releases. Like, if it's nothing special, we already know it's their way of doing things. So at this point, let me give you my very early predictions for the 2026 Game of the Year nominees. There are going to be surprise releases and delays, but here's what I think. Resident Evil Requiem is the only game I'm 100% sure about, then Half-Life 3, Wolverine, Phantom Blade 0, Crossworn, and no GTA 6 because I really think it's gonna be delayed. All of these games didn't come out yet, but we'll see if at least some of these are going to be correct. For last other game-related things I wanted to mention are movies like the Super Mario Galaxy movie that I already know is going to be goated. I'm going to watch Return to Silent Hill, Mortal Kombat 2 and Street Fighter movies, only if the critics and fans' reviews aren't upsetting. What I'm very curious about is the Sekiro series that will be fully hand-drawn, and the Resident Evil movie directed by Zach Cregger, who made Weapons, which I adore, and he also seems to be a fan of the franchise. So fingers crossed. To end the video, I want to say that the sad reality is that playing all of those games this year will be impossible for me. Video games cost a lot of money, and I simply hate the idea of buying new games knowing that in a year they're going to be many times cheaper. I pre-order Resident Evil Requiem, and if Half-Life 3 comes out, I will be buying it immediately. And I'll buy some other new games too, but probably not more than 5. But you have the power to change my fate simply by subscribing. If I'll get enough subscribers, I will invest in the channel buying more games to talk about.